I am the father, and I get my headphones. That's right, so very well. It's true. Good memories, Junior. This is a video response, your response number 2. Really, it's important, man, for us to keep things, to remember things, right? To search in memory. This fact, for example, that you mentioned about the light from the trip. I was very young. I have a memory, a vague memory of it all. But the most interesting thing is that I have a memory of the emotion that was that situation. And also of the subsequent emotion that no one believed what we were saying, that everyone doubted that it had happened, unless it was a collective hallucination. There, because it really happened. And people really don't believe that these things can happen. And I remember very well that later the discussions I mentioned there, the adult discussions about it, were all like that, discrediting what it might have been, looking for justifications here, justifications there, and it ended up that we became embarrassed to talk about that subject, to comment on it, but it was very real for us, too. It's interesting, because I wasn't remembering that detail anymore, no. From that event, I didn't remember anymore when you started talking. I said, man, that's right, it's true. This happened, and then I keep here a detail, a thought, which is the following. We tend to erase things that sometimes made us a bit embarrassed. I think that event after the discussion, after all that, we were a bit embarrassed to talk about it because people didn't really believe us, and then we tend to erase it. I don't know, I think this is a defense, and an interesting defense, because we keep remember the good things, but the things that had some subsequent unpleasant situation, we tend to erase. This is a defense. I think it's a defense, and a very interesting defense. A defense, desirable, right? But it was good to remember. It was good to remember that, because the memory is good despite everything, right? Despite everything. It was forgotten because I was very young. I was very young at that time. And then it was a situation like this, so inexplicable that we had no parameters to understand, right? Really, the light followed. I remember this story. I said, funny, now it's on this side. How impressive and all. It was cool. It really was cool. And it turned out that we couldn't understand it. There was no explanation for that event. I am mentioning here, for those who are watching from this video, I am mentioning here a response to a